Have you ever been to one of those pop-up holiday theme parks? You know the ones? They promise a magical experience, but it's usually just some sad-looking animatronics. A Santa who smells faintly of cheap coffee, and a snow machine blowing soap suds into your hair. Well, my local mall decided to up the ante this year with Jurassic Christmas. It sounded ridiculous, so of course I had to go. The flyer promised animatronic raptors decked out in festive gear, sleigh pulled by a T-Rex, and Santa Claus driving a souped-up Jurassic Park-style Jeep. I got there, it was exactly as tacky as I imagined. The raptors had these goofy, oversized antlers glued to their heads, and they moved with that jerky, predictable motion of all animatronics. Kids were squealing with delight. Parents were snapping photos, and I was just trying to get a decent shot of a triceratops tangled in Christmas lights for my social media. I was standing near one of the raptor enclosures, trying to get the focus right on my phone. The raptor in front of me was wearing a little Santa hat that was falling over one eye. It was supposed to be doing this canned roar and snap sequence every 30 seconds. But then it stopped. Mid-roar. Everything went silent for a second, except for the tinny Christmas carols playing over the park speakers. Slowly, way too smoothly for a machine, the raptor turned its head. Organics were fluid, organic. It wasn't jerky anymore. Its yellow reptilian eye, which I thought was just painted plastic, seemed to dilate as it fixed on me. It took a step forward, a heavy, solid thud on the fake snow, not the worry sound I'd heard before. It lowered its snout and sniffed the sleeve of my winter coat. A low, guttural growl rumbled from its chest, a sound that felt way too real. It was the scent. I'd spent the morning volunteering at an animal shelter, the one that takes in exotic pets people can't handle. I still had the lingering smell of lizards and snakes on my clothes. The raptor sniffed again, its nostrils flaring. This was a look of recognition, a predator identifying prey. My blood ran cold. This wasn't a machine. Just then, the park speakers crackled to life, interrupting a cheerful rendition of Jingle Bells. A panicked voice, laced with static, screamed, "Code red, containment has failed." I repeat, containment has failed. But nobody else seemed to notice. The families around me just kept clapping and cheering, thinking it was all part of the show. The guy next to me even laughed and said, "Wow, they're really going all out with the special effects this year." He had no idea. I looked back at the raptor. Its head was tilted, its eyes locked on mine, and a thin string of drool dripped from its jaw, sizzling as it hit the fake snow. The other animatronics in the park were starting to move too, their movements becoming just as fluid, just as real. The T-Rex pulling Santa's sleigh let out a deafening roar that shook the entire mall. A sound that was definitely not coming from a speaker. The crowd roared back with applause. I was frozen. Trapped between a raptor that looked like it wanted me for a Christmas snack and a crowd of people who thought this was the best holiday show ever. The flimsy velvet rope separating me from the enclosure suddenly seemed ridiculously inadequate. The raptor took another step, its razor-sharp claws digging into the ground, and I knew I had to move. I started backing away slowly, my heart pounding in my ears, trying not to draw attention, but its eyes never left me. It knew. And I was the only one who knew that our cheesy Jurassic Christmas was about to turn into a real-life feeding frenzy. What do you do when you're the only one who knows the monsters are real? I'm still figuring that out. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever had a weird theme park experience, drop it in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales from the strange side of life. Stay safe out there. I sprinted, my lungs burning in the freezing air. The blizzard wasn't natural. Snow machines were going into overdrive, a deafening roar designed to drown out something else. The screams, I had to get away, find somewhere, anywhere. A flash of red caught my eye just off only door, slightly ajar. I didn't hesitate. I dove through it, slamming it shut behind me, the sudden silence ringing in my ears. The hallway was narrow, dimly lit by emergency lights, and smelled of ozone and something metallic like old blood. The walls were covered in faded posters, diagrams of genetics, and facility layouts. But underneath them, something was horribly wrong. Deep, vicious gouges tore through the paper and into the concrete wall itself. 3 parallel lines like some monstrous animal had raked its claws down the surface. They looked fresh. Dust and flecks of paint still littered the floor beneath them. My heart hammered against my ribs. I followed the hallway deeper, my footsteps echoing ominously. The claw marks were everywhere, a breadcrumb trail of destruction. They crisscrossed over old warning signs. Containment Protocol Omega, Biohazard Level 4, Do Not Feed. My flashlight beam landed on a figure huddled at the end of the corridor. A man in a tattered lab coat, his face pale and streaked with grime. He was rocking back and forth, muttering to himself. I approached slowly. "Hey," I whispered. "What's going on? What are those things?" He didn't seem to hear me. I reached out and touched his shoulder. He flinched violently and spun around, grabbing my arms with a grip like steel. His eyes were wild with terror. "You don't understand," he rasped, his voice shaking so badly I could barely make out the words. "You can't be in here." It broke out of the primary incubator. "What broke out?" I demanded, trying to pull away. His grip only tightened, his knuckles white. The Project Chimera. We spliced their genes for rapid growth, intelligence. But we missed something. A behavioral trait from the avian DNA. He stared at me, his eyes wide with a horrifying realization. "They imprint," he choked out. "The moment they hatch, they imprint on the first living thing they see. They see it as their parent, their protector, and they will kill anything that threatens it." Before I could process his words, a sound echoed from the darkness behind him. A soft, high-pitched chirp, like a baby bird. I pushed past the researcher, shining my light down the connecting corridor. And there it was. It couldn't have been more than 2 feet tall, a tiny dinosaur waddling towards us on 2 scaly legs. Its skin was a mosaic of dark green and black, and its eyes were huge, intelligent and amber-colored. It chirped again, a sweet, inquisitive sound that was completely at odds with the carnage I'd seen. And then I saw the detail that made my blood run cold. Tied around its neck, in a perfect, jaunty little knot, was a small red ribbon, bow. It must have been a gift, a joke from one of the scientists. The little creature tilted its head, looking right at me. It took another wobbly step forward, opened its tiny tooth-filled mouth, and let out another chirp. But this one was different, louder, more demanding. It wasn't looking at me with curiosity anymore. It was looking at me with recognition. The researcher behind me gasped, "Oh no." The baby raptor fixed its gaze on me, chirped one more time, and then turned its head toward the suffocating darkness it had emerged from. It let out a piercing, resonant shriek, a call that echoed down the metal hallway. A sound that wasn't a question, but a command. And from the deep, impenetrable black, something answered. A low, guttural growl that vibrated through the floor. Something much, much bigger. And it was coming. I raced back through the trees, the ground shaking with each thundering step behind me. The snow is kicked up in a blizzard of white, and the roar is deafening. I don't dare look back. I just run, my lungs burning, my legs screaming. Up ahead I see it, a Santa Jeep, as I jokingly called it earlier. Now, it's a twisted wreck, smashed against a giant redwood. Its red paint peeling like sunburnt skin.
Oh.
The festive sleigh bells are still attached, but they're pinned under the wreckage, ringing out a frantic, dying alarm. It's a chilling sound, like the park's last gasp. And then it hits me. The truth, cold and sharp as an icicle. This whole time I thought the park was just getting into the holiday spirit, dressing up dinosaurs in silly Christmas gear.
Hello.
But I was so wrong. The Santa hats, the reindeer antlers, the sleigh, it was all a distraction, a cover. Christmas wasn't a celebration. It was a smokescreen for moving live specimens. They were transporting them, maybe to a new enclosure, maybe a phyland entirely, and something went terribly, terribly wrong. The containment failed. The ringing of the bells is almost swallowed by a different sound now, low guttural call that echoes through the forest. It's not a roar of aggression, it's a call of recognition. I skid to a stop behind a thicket of ferns, heart hammering against my ribs. I peek through the leaves and my breath catches in my throat. It's the whole herd, the Parasaurolophus, their crests glowing faintly in the twilight, the little Campsognathus darting between their massive legs like mischievous elves. Even the Triceratops, their frills adorned with now tattered wreaths. They're not chasing me. They're following me. I remember what the lead geneticist told me during my orientation. We imprint them on their handlers from birth. They see you as one of their own, as their leader. At the time, I thought it was a fascinating piece of science. Now, it's a terrifying reality. I was the handler for this specific transport group. I was the one who fed them this morning, who calmed them as they were loaded into their containers. To them, I'm not a threat. I'm family. I'm the alpha. I look at the broken-down Jeep, then back at the herd. They've stopped watching me with an eerie stillness, their huge, intelligent eyes blinking slowly. They're waiting for my next move. The park is in lockdown, the alarms are silent, and the staff are either gone or worse. There's no one coming to fix this. It's just me and a herd of prehistoric animals who think I'm their mom, loose in a forest at the edge of the world. What do? Where do I lead them? I glance up at the darkening sky, a few snowflakes beginning to fall again. The sleigh bells on the wrecked Jeep finally go silent, leaving only the heavy breathing of the giants behind me. I'm their leader. It's up to me to get us through the night. And I have a terrifying feeling this is going to be a very, very long Christmas. Like, share, and subscribe to Bloody Chapter for more stories that haunt the mind long after the sound fades.